Tinted for $100? That's a good deal. I'm so doing it. So now that we guarantee that that's like that, what I want to do is center it. And it pretty much centers itself when you do that, but at the same time, like I said, I don't trust anything. So what we're going to do is make it just a little bit snug, okay? And then once I've made it a little bit snug, I'm going to go ahead and stick it on one of these forks over here. Put a bolt on it and spin it. And then we're going to spin it and we're going to look for this guy to go up and down, right? Wherever it goes up and down, I'm going to touch it and I'll feel it and I'll see it. And then it'll leave a little mark on the edges for me. Then I'll know that I can tap it down. Or visually just tap it and move it as we go. And then center it. Once it's centered, tighten it down all the way. I think it's 10 Newton meters, so not much. And I'll use a tool that guarantees that I don't over torque it. What's up, YouTubers? Just finally caught a moment on a Sunday afternoon to work on my stuff. I don't know if I told anybody, but I got 200 rotors in. I got 4 different rotors in total, 2 different designs, and 2 different sizes. Exciting, right? Especially for razor people. However, after verifying 6 times what I needed for the bolt pattern, they gave me standard motor mountain bike pattern. So instead of it being what we need, which is 24 or 48 millimeter, I got standard 22, 44 millimeter. I'm asking them to either send me the proper set or give me my money back. And they're like, well, why don't you see if you can just sell it to other people? Who am I going to sell 200 incorrect rotors to? Not like there isn't any competition for what already exists, right? So I figured the worst thing I could do is try it out. Well, when I first started playing with razors and I realized we're paying way too much money for brakes, you remember that black bike? Well, that's the first one that I put the wrong rotor on years ago. Well, I say years ago, a year ago, maybe 2 years ago max. Can't really tell. But that does not bolt up. I had to use washers. So I'm going to show you how to do it. First thing it did was go ahead and line up some washers, right? Line up the ones for the bolt holes. And the reason why I do this is so that I can get a spacing. I need it to be flush. That's as flush as I'm going to be able to get, right? So I got it flush, and then I used clear Gorilla epoxy glue to line them all down. So now, and then I got a piece of steel that was flat and guaranteed that all these guys were even and flat. And once I was done with that, I let it dry. Then we got the rotor that's incorrectly sized. And what we're going to do is we're going to use another set of washers. That means we have to use 18 washers. I don't know how much 18 washers cost, but it's probably more expensive than the correct rotor. My problem is I've got 200. So I think it's not a bad deal for me to just go ahead and do this, you know, as opposed to trying to figure out what to do with 200 rotors. So this is basically how you do it. I've done it before. I'll show you the final spot, what you got to do before you get it tight. And I always tell people, don't tighten your bolts. Just get them kind of snug, because you still have to do something that's called fit and finish. We got to align everything up. I come from a world of classic cars. I used to restore classic cars for $6.50 an hour. And then I would get fired on the 364th day and then rehired again 2 days later so that I couldn't receive vacation benefits. Oh yeah, the auto industry is a fickle, fickle creature. But the car gods seemed to really love me a lot. So I did really well. I prospered. I took all that bad stuff and I made something really good out of it. So what we're going to do with that same philosophy is rule number 1, don't ever trust anything you get. Never. It's never going to be 100%. I love doing things to the best of my ability, and still, I know that I'm not going to make a 100% product. I'm not going to make a 100% product because I'm human. I'm going to give it all the passion I got, all the love I can. I'm going to try my hardest. I'm probably going to stay up very late, just focused on this while my dogs and my girlfriend complain that I'm not giving them enough attention. So, it has nothing to do with the attention or how much I like my job or love my job. It's because we're human. We're not machines. We can't be perfect every single time. And I'm okay with that. I'll accept my flaws, and if I messed up, you guys tell me, man, and I'll learn. I want to make better. I don't have an ego that says that I'm better than anybody, because we're all equal. Some people possess much better talents and skills than I do on some things. That's what I'm constantly trying, right? So, the wheel's going this way, right? And we want to hit the brakes. So I'm going to pretend I'm a caliper and turn this way. Now that I've turned it that way, I'm going to go ahead and start tightening everything up. I'm going to go ahead and loosen everything up in this case because I feel like maybe it was a little too tight, but not by a lot. Oh, that was the one. Okay, see, it was important to make sure that I had the height right so they don't have any warpage. And then the second thing was to fill in the spots where the rotor doesn't quite fit against the lip that was machined by Razor. The next thing was to go ahead and pretend I was a brake caliper squeezing on the rotor and pulling it backwards. I think I got it snugged. I got all the washers outward, grabbing as much of the clamp as I can. And let's throw it on the axle bolt. See what she does. Wee. How's that look? That looks pretty dead on. What do you guys think? That looks really dead on. Let me spin it one more time. Grab a little something. Not touching here. You can see some wear marks, and then it gets kind of heavy right here. First time. I've got all the other ones tight, so now I can come through one by one and make sure all the washers are exactly where I want them. That's that. Let's do one final check, huh? I'm satisfied. All right, let's go ahead and check it one more time, huh? That's almost complete and full contact. That's probably as close as I'm going to get. But that's it. That's mounted. That is a properly mounted, an incorrectly properly mounted rotor. It's not going to sway left and right or go up and down on me. It's going to perform like it should. I like it. All right. Next, I got to do like a back wheel or something, but continue moving forward from there. The puzzle was to come back through after I had already laid my epoxies down, put the bolts in, tightened it as you saw, centered it, and then laid down more epoxy to make sure it just doesn't move. It's clear, so it's really hard to see it, but it's definitely surrounding the rotor and guaranteeing that if I took all the bolts off, you still wouldn't be able to get the rotor off. So that's how it's done. I hope this works for you.